Yo, what's up guys, it's Talon. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about support and how to shut down the enemy jungler as a support, and just in general how to impact the game positively on support. So I'm just going to go through this replay and kind of talk to you guys about that. So we're playing against a really good, first off, you guys are going to see here, I'm going to go for a stupid ward and I'm going to die from it. Level 1. Horrible start to the game, really stupid ward. I learned a couple things from this ward and actually implemented this in a later game against an Evelynn, where instead of warding like that, I instead warded their Gromp and waited a bit so that I wouldn't get caught like that. So very stupid play, but I learned from it and I improved on it in a later game. So making those mistakes, even something as stupid as that, it is what it is. But we start off the game very poorly. But anyways, so I'm playing against probably the best Evelynn player, honestly, in the world. He's a Twitch streamer. His name's Call Me Tog. Call Me TOG. He's like insanely good at the game. And so I'm playing into his jungle and he's going to carry this game really well, but I want to show you guys kind of how I shut down enemy jungle very effectively and how I play around the enemy carry, kind of. That's the main thing that I'm going to be talking about in this gameplay, is how I'm thinking about, especially playing a solo queue tank in support. I feel like it's very important to understand trying to shut down the enemy carry, but first we'll go through this lane phase and then we'll talk about that as, you know, we progress into the game. So lane phase didn't start off well, but the kill went on to their Galio, so it's not like our lane got affected too negatively. So I'm just playing around the bush looking for hooks. You're going to see I'm going to get a nice hook onto the Tristana there. Force outer flash. Make sure that I ping the flash so my jungler knows, because I have a Nunu who's very prone to ganking. And we know that Evelynn does not gank until level 5, which she can get around 1 minute 40-ish seconds. I don't know the exact time, but I would say roughly 140 she can get level 5. So before that, we're kind of safe. But at this point now, we know Evelynn has level 5, or at least is close to it. So now we got to be a bit more careful. You see I'm kind of using the Hex Flash to look for a potential kill there. I love Hex Flash, by the way, guys. It's super fun in support. It's made support infinitely more fun for me. I really love this in general. And this is a master gameplay, by the way, pretty high elo. I mean, we are against a grandmaster as well, I think. So, pretty high elo game here. At this point, we want to keep up the pressure in lane because we got one of them really low. So when you're playing bot lane and you get the enemy really low like this and you have the advantage, instead of backing, it is better to keep pressuring like this. Now, I didn't know where Evelynn was, so I don't pressure. But in general, if you do know where the enemy jungler is, like I do now, it's important to pressure the enemy like this, because they want to back because they're low. They're going to get pressured under their tower, they're going to miss CS, and they're going to be, you know, in a very bad spot. So that's why you want to stay up and pressure them like I do here. You see I use the Hex Flash to get that kill on the Lulu. God, I love that rune. It's so cool. So yeah, I mean, we end up getting the kill there against keeping the pressure up because we got them low and we got one of their flashes blown. So very important understanding, when you have the advantage in lane, don't just back and give it up and give them a free back if you don't have to. Obviously, if you're worried about the enemy jungler, that changes. But in this situation, we weren't really worried about that once we saw that the Evelynn went level and used their ultimate in mid lane. So again, doing something like that is very important. And now here you're going to see that I'm going to go for Mercury Treads. That's because they have Singed, Evelynn, and Galio. And then they also have a Lulu. So they're basically all AP apart from the Tristana. So I'm just going to be itemizing, obviously, with the Mercury Treads to get that. And then I'm going to go for the Mantle next so that I get the armor plus magic resist. I get both. I also get HP and I get a really nice passive. Honestly, I love Mantle on Thresh. I think it's a pretty underrated item. And again, we're looking for the hook there. You're gonna see this. We're gonna go all the way over the wall. We're gonna lantern him, and we're going to get the kill on Tristana. I thought that was a pretty cool play. I was pretty happy with that. It was very risky, but it did work out in the end. We tried to go for the turret dive, but didn't really work. And now I'm scared Evelynn might be here, so I'm just running out and trying to get out. Honestly, a bit of a risky play, a bit of a YOLO there, but it did work out. That was pretty funny. The Tristana jumping over the wall. I follow her and then lantern on my teammate up in there. Playing aggressively on tank supports or when the jungler's nearby is very important too. So oftentimes, I felt this very often when I was learning support. I didn't really know as a tank support when I should be engaging in lane, because I feel like if I just engage in lane at a random point, not much happens, or maybe it's a 50-50 as to whether we win it or lose it. But engaging when your jungler is nearby is usually how you're going to want to decide on forcing stuff. Now, of course, there's going to be situations where you just have a good kill opportunity and you just got to take it. But generally, it's going to be important, again, to be ganking or trying to, you know, set up the ganks well. And as a jungler, it's nice to path towards your tank support. So if I'm playing jungler, if I'm playing jungle and I have an enchanter support, I am not as often going to want to path towards that because they don't have as good of gank setup. But a tank support like Thresh, like Nautilus, like Alistar have really good gank setup, especially when they have their flashes up or if they have Hex Flash. So in these situations, it's very important to path towards the support if you can, when you do have that engaged support option, especially if the enemy is easy to gank or low mobility or something like that. You're gonna see I'm gonna use Hex Flash. I'm gonna try to save my teammate's life there, and then we're just gonna be pressuring the Evelynn and kind of forcing them back, and then they're gonna end up dying. I think actually no, I think he makes it out. Okay, but either way, we get a lot. We get his ult and his flash out, which is good enough. And so that's kind of the start of the game. In terms of going into like the mid to late game and kind of pressuring the enemy jungler now that we're out of lane phase, I'm just generally going to want to be hovering around where I see Evelynn, because as Evelynn's obviously a champion where you kind of have to guess where they are. You can't actually 100% tell at all points. And so now I know Evelynn's probably on Herald, so I'm backing, and then I want to go to Herald right after so that we can hopefully pressure it, which is why I backed instead of staying on the Dragon. But they do get the Herald. So my next move now is I want to try to be wherever Evelynn wants to drop Herald. So I have to put myself in Evelynn's shoes and think about where Evelynn would want to go with the Herald. Initially, I'm thinking she might want to go top lane because it's the closest area. So I'm going to hover around here for a minute, see if she's possibly going to be there, and, you know, make sure that she doesn't get any type of gank off. So you're going to see I'm going to be hovering around a little bit. I'm going to look at her Krugs to see if the Evelynn's on Krugs or anything like that. And then I'm just going to go help out my Garen. Try to get a hook on a Singed, but Singed is really, really hard to hook. He's so dang fast. And so now at this point, if I'm Evelynn, I'm not expecting Evelynn to be here anymore. So I decide I want to maybe go bot lane. So I start channeling my back and thinking about going bot lane. But my Garen keeps going aggro, so I kind of want to hover to make sure he doesn't die or get ganked or anything. But again, I'm trying to back, but now Galio shows up. I'm thinking that she's probably going bot right now, the Evelynn. That's what's going through my mind. But then I see her show up top lane, so I go back now to hover to look, because I know she's going to drop the Herald. And you're going to see here, I'm going to end up saving the Garen's life here, or I think I will. Something like along those lines happens. You're going to see I'm going to go for the flash hook. We're going to get it successfully, and Evelynn dies there, thanks to that kill there. And we do lose the turret, but again, as a tank support, if your ADC is relatively safe, this is a very important thing to do. If they do get the Herald, try to think about where they might end up dropping it. I thought that they would drop it top, and then I started hovering bot, but then I did see them go top, so I went back there. Just kind of trying to figure out where this Evelynn's going with everything. Trying to get vision onto her jungle and all of that, just to track her movement as much as possible. At this point, I want to now go back to my ADC, because it's very good to roam, but you don't want to leave your ADC alone for too long. And apologies for this that's showing up on your screen. I was doing something to get something off the screen, so it might be a little weird looking. That was just because it was on my stream. But yeah, now I'm going back to help out my ADC, but then I see Evelynn show up in mid lane, so I'm like, okay, let me go help Evelynn. Jinx looks like she's fine, so I might as well go out and help. So that's exactly what we end up doing. Now, Evelynn's safe, but I expect her to maybe go for her camps or something, so I might want to look into her camps and just see if I can get vision onto her. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Gonna use this cone to see if I can, and then again, the Evelynn's gonna go onto me. I'm not really scared of an Evelynn, though. She can't really kill me, so I'm fine with just trading with her like that, making her life a bit hard. And just kind of creating plays in general. So, like, as a tank support, being this annoying player that gets the vision onto the jungle and everything can make the jungler's game really hard. And so in these games, you kind of have to identify the win and lose conditions. So of this game, it's a little different because I'm playing against TOG. So like in my mind, I'm just like, okay, he's going to carry, because if you guys don't know, like, this guy is seriously insane in the game. So I know 100% he's going to carry if I'm not really messing with him hard. So I'm even like giving up my 4-0 Jinx and not helping her out as much as I could, because I really want to make sure that his game is not super easy to play. And even despite that, he does get a lot of gold, but trust me, like, he would be carrying this game a lot harder if I wasn't focusing on that type of stuff. So you can see even now I'm kind of looking on his blue buff, since we do have the Infernal Dragon like thing, and then my Nunu gets a nice engage, so then we obviously just help her out there. And I get to hook onto the Evelynn. I thought that was a pretty cool hook. And overall, just, you know, hovering around her blue buff, kind of pressuring her camps when we can, making plays with our teammates. Pretty straightforward there. And shout out to my Jinx, by the way. I mean, I haven't given this Jinx a lot of attention after lane phase, but they're 4-0. They're doing really well. And I think I could have helped my Jinx out a bit more than I did, so that's definitely a mistake a little bit by me, but it is what it is. It happens. Probably could have helped her out more. Also, I don't like the itemization of either ADC in this game. I don't like Blade of the Rune King on Tristana that much. I mean, it's whatever, but going Infinity Edge first on Jinx is horrible. Like, going Infinity Edge first on any champion ever is, unless you're like Yone or Yasuo maybe, but it's a horrible item choice. It's just not even as much damage, and you don't get a passive from it because the passive is just the crit, like doing extra damage. So it's a very bad first item. Should never be earlier than second item. But yeah, our Jinx does get low there and kind of have to flash out. So now again, we're going to be looking for Evelynn when we can, just trying to make her game hard, just CCing people or going in, following up on our teammates. So we're going to follow up on the Nunu engage there. Not really going to hit much though, but we do get the hook onto the Lulu, resulting in that kill. And now you can see I'm kind of trying to zone that Evelynn, but Evelynn does ult and get the kill, unfortunately. Not a ton I could do, but you see here I walk up and I save my teammate by just throwing everything. We get the hook onto the Evelynn there. It was a really clean hook that results in the death. So that was pretty well played by me. And then the Singe just running around in these team fights makes it pretty hard to play. But yeah, I mean, just looking onto those hooks, like those types of hooks, trying to thread the needle, go onto the carry, go onto the real threat. Identifying the threats in team fights and then trying to get your hooks and CC on them when you can is very important. And just in general, following up, since I'm not the main engage here, my Nunu kind of is, my Garen, they go in first. I'm kind of more there to be a little bit further back and lantern my teammates out when I can. You can see here now I started up so that we can get this before Evelynn respawns, and I lanterned my Nunu in so that we can just straight up get the dragon. Just very nice stuff here overall. Just kind of zoning out now, and we do end up getting that. Nunu has a very good smite combo, of course, so I'm pretty confident that my Nunu will win the smite wars in most situations. It's very hard to outsmite a Nunu. And you see I'm just kind of using that Hex Flash just whenever I see an opportunity, because might as well, it comes up every 20 seconds. I seriously love Hex Flash though, it's so cool. Nunu going a bit far up there, but it looks like we're still chilling overall. And once again, you see I'm just kind of trying to get vision in the jungle. I'm just taking some camps when I can, like even just, you know, get my E on there, got a couple of the camps, just stupid stuff like that. Messing with the enemy jungler is always good to do when you can. No reason not to. Another Hex Flash opportunity, but we don't quite get the hook out on them there. And now I'm expecting Evelynn to be on her Krug since I saw her on Raptors earlier. So because of that, I'm kind of going to go hover around there if I can. Yeah, so I do end up going and hovering with my Nunu and looking for a possible kill onto the Singe there. We'll see what ends up happening. Also, very important with Thresh to know, if you want to hit your hooks easier, try comboing your third ability with them and then hooking right after. It makes it an easier way to kind of do it. And you can see my team wants to go Baron here, but I want to find Evelynn. That's really what I'm worried about. So even if my team starts Baron, my concern is mostly Evelynn. If I can find her, that's ideal. I'm just kind of running around seeing, and now I find Evelynn, I spot her, and my team gets off of the Baron. So now we're just going to go and look for the fight if we can. But yeah, kind of the main things to keep track of when you're trying to mess with the enemy jungle is just figure out like their kind of camp rotations when you can, what camps are up and when. Trying to track that is very important. Some easy ways to do that are looking at which buffs they have. So if they have a blue buff, for example, you know they're already taken their blue side, so they're probably on their red side if they don't have their red buff yet. And you can kind of use that to keep track of the rough timings of when they'll be on what. When you have this Infernal map, it makes it even easier because you can kind of check very, very straightforwardly. So Infernal map is going to be the best time to invade the enemy jungle and really mess with them. That's why I really like this map. It's a lot of fun for invading and all of that. And then itemization wise, again, they have a lot of AP. I want to balance health with a MR though, magic resist. I don't want to just get magic resist because if you don't have health, mathematically it just doesn't, you know, block as much damage. So I'm going for the Warmogs here, and then after I go for Warmogs, I'll probably go for an Abyssal Mask or a Force of Nature or something like that. Thresh obviously has his passive where he gets armor already. He doesn't get magic resist from it, so building magic resist when they have a lot of AP is very important for Thresh, since you already got that armor from your passive. So apart from the mantle armor, I don't really need to build a ton of armor this game. Excuse me, sorry, I was clearing my throat there. But yeah, now I'm just kind of hovering around mid, making sure my teammates don't do anything stupid, lanterning them out if they do anything stupid, and using these blast cones for vision to kind of figure out the Evelynn's pathing if I can. Just kind of keep track of them whenever possible. And once again, my Nunu is kind of just looking like they might be going in, and then very good stasis by the Ahri there. Surprised that worked out. But now Evelynn has no flash or ult, so this is a great time to try to kill Evelynn if I can. So if I want to look for a hook or a flash onto her, this will be the best opportunity. And you're going to see I'm going to go in there, get my life saved by the mantle, and barely survive there going in. A very good fight from a any tank support is when you're able to get all of your CC, get everything off, and live on 1 HP, because that means you tanked maximum damage, and you also got, you know, as much damage and CC off on them as possible. So I always love living off 1 HP like that. It feels pretty nice. That's usually what you want to have happen in team fights. Now, I want to get vision onto the Baron. I think we already have it, but always make sure you kind of get vision on Baron right before a dragon is spawning or something, because sometimes the enemy team might try to sneak it or something like that. And so you see they clear our vision there, so I end up going and just looking. But I see Evelynn on bot side, so I know they're not going to go for the Baron, so I'm kind of safe just going and helping my team now. And Evelynn one-shots someone, unfortunately, there, which is pretty hard to do, like, pretty hard for me to stop that. But if I see my Jinx going there, I should be hovering her and going, like, next to her so she can't get one-shot, instead of kind of letting her off on her own like that. And then I do ward the Baron. I think this was a mistake, though. I should have just gone with my team instead. I kind of warded it just to, like, in case they went onto it, but that was pretty stupid of me, because obviously they would go dragon first. So that was pretty bad, but I think we do end up maybe killing Evelynn. No, not quite, but it definitely a bit of a misplay by me. I do think we would have lost that anyways. My teammates should have probably just left once the Jinx died, because once Jinx gets one shot, there's not much we can do about that. So now I'm kind of going to go hover around Baron and hope that I can get vision or get something on it, but it's going to be unlikely that much happens, but we might as well try. Because even if I die here, it doesn't really matter. The only goal is kind of stopping Baron. Maybe Jinx can get something done. You never know. Use a random Hex Flash and just see if we can stop them or something. So I'm going to throw a Lantern down. We're going to kind of zone them off for a little bit. Just stall it out if we can. But I still don't want to die here either if I don't have to. I'm just kind of sitting around, but we're going to see it's not really going to work out. So we're just kind of going to have to back off after this, unfortunately. So at this point, we're not in a very good spot. My main goal is, again, just going to be CCing this Evelynn whenever Evelynn does go in. Not been able to do that super effectively in the last couple minutes, and it's led to Evelynn getting very fed, very strong. So this is definitely very problematic for us, but it doesn't mean the game's over or anything. We have the good scaling. I just got my Warmugs, which is very nice, so overall, just got to focus on that, really CCing them when we can, and we'll see how, you know, the rest of the fights play out. That was a weird ultimate from Evelynn. I'm not sure why. Maybe they were just scared they would die or something. But I ended up getting caught by the Galio, so I have to back off there, unfortunately. Not the end of the world, though. Just had to use my Proto Belts, so that cooldown's pretty low anyway. Yeah, I'm just going to back at this point for Warmugs. Even if my team goes forward, there's not much I can do to help, so they do end up getting a kill, though, so well played to my team. I'm going to go clear this top wave, maybe? No, it looks like I'll go help my team, which was the correct call. And we get a pretty nice hook there onto the Lulu, allowing them to die. And now we get 3 of them, and this is kind of where we turn the game on its head a bit. But the Tristana somehow lives here. I can't believe Tristana lived. Like, that would have been so good for us if Tristana didn't live there, but I don't know how they live. But again, main things that we're kind of trying to do here is just keep track of Evelynn and just kind of hover our teammates, because again, we don't really know where Evelynn's going to be. So the best thing we can do is just try to hover our teammates when we can so that they don't die. And then when Evelynn goes in like this, we're able to CC them very effectively. But it looks like we don't actually win this. It was really close, but we do get the Evelynn flash and ult out, and we kill one though, so it's not too bad. Though our jungler is dead for the objective now, and their jungler is alive, so we're going to have to try to zone them off this if we can, because we don't want them getting it, obviously. And I'm going to buy the Abyssal Mask now, you're going to see. Or I'm not going to buy it, but I'm going to start building it. I maybe could have even gotten magic resist or more magic resist earlier on, but I think my build is overall pretty fine this game. So now at this point, I'm just trying to save my Jinx by getting a Lantern over to her, but I do think she's going to end up dying here. If I'm not mistaken, we'll see what ends up happening. But yeah, oh, I accidentally went out of my range. That was kind of dumb. Getting a nice little hook on the Evelynn there, and then she ends up getting charmed, so we get some good poke onto her. And again, I'm just kind of playing more towards the back, trying to Lantern my teammates out, because I don't think this is going to be a winning fight. So instead, I'm kind of just here with the Lantern, hoping to bait them in. And we do kind of bait them in. The Evelynn ends up getting caught there, and I have the CC to combo with her. You're going to see in a second, I'm going to go for a hook flash onto the Lulu, and we successfully get it, which is very nice. And I have Warmugs here, so I don't actually have to back yet, which is really nice. Warmugs is super, super good at this point in the game, where even though I'm 1 HP, you're going to see I'm just going to wait around, heal up all the way back to full health, and then we can go in for any engage if we need to. So at this point, I think we're going to start it to just try to force a fight, because we have an extra person, so I do accidentally go out of my Lantern's range again, which was kind of stupid, but I'm kind of just trying to bait the Evelynn in if we can. That's the main goal. They're just on a Stro's top lane, which means that we have a big advantage in this fight. we don't want to completely flip it. We want to find Evelyn, and now that we found Evelyn, I just need to be zoning her in whatever way I can. I'm going to throw a lantern there, and I'm going to walk here, just like showing myself to try to find the Evelyn. I'm going to use my ultimate to slow her down, and then just go hover around here, because I assume she has to be here. And then she does just back off, because there's no way that she could possibly be there. So yeah, I mean, in general, just zoning her off really effectively, allowing our teammates to do that. Again, we have the Nunu, so we can trust them to hit the smite because of the extra combo. It makes it really easy, and then we just kind of force the fight with Elder Dragon. Since Elder Dragon is of course OP and kind of means that the game ends if you get it. At this point now we should probably force the Baron though, but since our team goes forward and kills the Evelyn, I think we want to just force the Baron here, but then we kill another person, so I guess we just force the end. I think we can end here if we just get the mid wave. But the main things I wanted you guys to take away from this gameplay are just kind of messing with the enemy jungler. Main ways to do that is kind of just following their pathing through looking at buffs, or just kind of keeping track of their pathing when they gank one lane and all that type of stuff. Trying to get wards onto there, or using the Infernal map when you have that. So just kind of walk at them, take their camps if you can, or just like mess with them, get vision on them. Because even just spotting the enemy jungler is extremely beneficial. Because if you spot the enemy jungler, that essentially means that you have enough information where whoever's on the opposite side of the map knows they can be more aggressive, and you can make sure you use a lot of pings to effectively let your teammates know that. And then just focusing your CC and your building onto kind of the enemy carries. So if the enemy carry is AP, making sure you're building a lot of magic resist, or if they're AD, you know, building a lot of armor. Building attack speed slows when the ADCs are really fed. Things like that are definitely, or like Rando and Solomon is a great item into fed ADCs. And just in general, understanding who the carry is and how to shut them down is going to help you, especially on these tank supports. It's very effective. And again, in lane, making sure that you're making the aggressive plays when your jungler is nearby, and playing more passive when your jungler is not nearby. So hopefully this was a helpful video to you guys in some ways, just kind of showing you guys the gameplay of support, since I haven't had a ton of support gameplay. I've been queuing autofill recently, and I've been enjoying that on my main account, so I might continue to queue autofill probably, and hopefully just get you guys a variety of gameplay on different roles, how to carry, show you examples of just different solo queue games and all of that. Again, high elo solo queue game here. Or maybe I was playing duo. No, yeah, I was playing solo queue here against a really good player, and we ended up winning, kind of thanks to my teammates to an extent. But yeah, anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope you enjoyed.